Hello, this is Drsayus, and welcome to my review of The Crew, Calling All Units. I'll be looking at the version on Uplay. Now, some people don't like Uplay because the DRM slows the game down, but I got the game for free, so I can't really have too many complaints. I have noticed a bit of frame rate reduction. Frame rate hits 50 at best, and at worst it goes around 30, so not too bad. But obviously, without Ubisoft's DRM, I would be getting a solid 60 in most cases. So what is The Crew? Well, for people who don't know, The Crew was released in 2014. It was a AAA game. It got very hyped up because it was an open world, online only racing game. So you had to be connected to the internet at all times. Now, this was a good thing and a bad thing in people's eyes. The good thing was the possibilities of it all, like everyone would always be connected to each other. You would do missions and people could join in and do races together, and you can meet people on the map. The bad thing is, obviously, if you have a bad internet connection, you're not going to be able to play this game very well. And even if you do have a good internet connection, because you're connecting online, like you're waiting for it to load and buffer, it would be much quicker if it was just offline. That's a little problem I have with the game. In most cases it runs fine. There's occasionally I can't get into the game because the server's down, but usually I just close the game and open it again, and that fixes the issue. This game was released 4 years ago. So the question is it still worth getting? Short answer is, if you can get it for cheap or free, go for it. If not, give The Crew 2 a try if you want to give the series a try, because from what I see in reviews it looks very similar to the first one. There's 5 main continents. This is based in North America, I believe. You have the Midwest, the East Coast, the South, the Mountain States, and the West Coast. And this game is absolutely massive, so it is. Like most of Ubisoft's open world games are very open world. You drive through famous cities like LA, Miami, Las Vegas, any major city in those areas. And obviously it's not one-to-one real world aspects. They've had to make the game a bit smaller, a lot smaller, but it's still pretty big for a game. The main story is a guy called Alex. Him and his brother are part of this underground racing organization called the 510s, and Alex's brother is the head honcho of the whole thing. At the start of the game, he relies on Alex to do various things. Alex is the best driver in the state, apparently, self-proclaimed. An unfortunate event happens. The brother goes to see a client about something, and he ends up getting killed, and Alex is there at the scene of the crime.
FBI, hands where I can see him.
My brother needs help. He's... What the hell are you doing, man? Help him! He's bleeding out!
Got a gun.
Well, that ain't mine.
This one's dead.
No!
5 years later, CIA agent Zoe comes in and she says, look, I know you've been set up. These are the 2 guys that killed your brother, and help me track them down. He's like, okay, I'll do it.
I'm keeping this.
Whatever gets you stoked.
So the dialogue's pretty cheesy. I like the cheesiness of it because it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's your typical revenge story, and it's about fast cars and guys with attitudes. I'm glad they didn't make it overly serious. There's another funny aspect of the game. I don't know if it's intentional, but the characters change their minds very quickly. Like, Alex meets this guy who was like a father to him called Harry, and Harry was angry with him because he didn't want Alex to be a part of the 510s. But then Alex goes, it's for revenge of my brother. You in? And the guy's like, of course.
Oh no. Hell no. Not you too, damn it!
No, it's not what you think.
Been out 5 minutes and you got 1 foot in the
Harry,
ready to
shut
go.
your old ass up and listen. I'm hunting the guy that killed Dayton. I'm gonna need your help, man. It's gonna be dangerous, and it's gonna be dirty. All I'm offering is vengeance. Nothing more, nothing less. For Dayton.
I was like, so he just changes his mind straight away. That's bloody ridiculous. You can beat most of the races pretty easy. Like, it was very rare that I actually had to restart a race. This is a great entry point for someone who's not too great at racing games. I've seen online some people complained about the AI of the cars. I've seen worse, you know, like obviously there's occasions where they do stupid things. Whenever I drive up to them, like they just let me bash them out of the way, like they don't fight back or anything. But for the most part, they're fine, you know, they do what they're supposed to do. I just wish they were a bit more competitive. The driving itself is pretty good. Most of the game I was drifting around corners, and then near the end the guy says to me, you need a good brake, don't use this drifty shit that the kids use. And I found out that that's actually better because you go top speed, slam on the brake to go around a corner, and you still do a little bit of a drift, but you're able to take off better and take sharper turns. The car I picked was a bit slippery at first, but I soon got used to it. It's what you'd expect from a driving game. Steering's tight, your car speeds up pretty quickly. I would say it's arcadey physics like Need for Speed. There's nothing wrong with that. Oddly enough, the open world, the map is realistic for a video game. It's very detailed in some areas, but in other areas it can be very empty. I would say it's detailed with the buildings, but there's not really much going on in the worlds. But you can't really condemn it for that because the game's so massive. My friend Mark, this is a little side note, but we went through some real life locations because he wanted to see how some of the American cities were recreated. He's very interested in American cultures. Surprisingly enough, they were detailed quite well. Like, you had famous sites like the Statue of Liberty, the Pyramid in Las Vegas. If you're into that sort of thing, like, go to one of the cities and drive slowly around it. Now, this is a bit counterproductive because the game wants you driving at high speeds. You're driving at high speeds to get around the map quickly, and also it's a racing game, so it doesn't encourage you to slow down and appreciate the scenery. Once you leave the cities, there's no point doing this because it's a vast emptiness basically. There is 6 different types of car you can get in the game. I think there's only a few cars in the game. I actually only used one car throughout the whole game because for the other cars you had to buy them either with real money or built-in game currency, and by the time I got far enough to get enough money, I decided just to stick with my original car, because the other thing is you have to level up your car. So every time you win a mini game or win a race, your car levels up. There is 6 different variants of the same car that you will be using in this game. You get the full stock at the start of the game. That's just the original car. Very quickly this will be replaced and you won't ever use it again. Most of the game you'll be using a street car, which you'll get very quickly early on in the game. This gives you nitrous oxide. It's great on the roads, not so great on terrain other than the roads. So unless you see a really good shortcut, just stick to the roads, because it's very rare you'll actually get a shortcut because you're doing a race and there's checkpoints, so you can't really explore, which isn't great. But later on in the game you'll get a Perif car, which is a better version of the street car, and then near the end of the game you'll get a circuit car, which is my personal favorite because it goes very fast, which is a faster version of the other 2 cars I just mentioned. Speaking of which, there's 2 other cars as well that I haven't mentioned. There's a dirt car, which lets you drive consistently on a dirt path, and then there was the raid car. Now the raid car, I didn't really like it that much because usually these segments you're in the mountain areas close to Las Vegas, and like a lot of the missions you're just driving across a blank desert with not much detail. I'm sure it's probably like that in real life, the deserts, but it wasn't very exciting to play as, you know. And these missions involved like knocking over canisters or something, There was like an occasionally great race. Everyone was using circuit cars apart from you, and you had to try and find shortcuts with the raid cars. So I liked aspects like that, but there wasn't enough of the game. Problem with the game was they tried to flesh it out too much. They kept doing like the same type of missions over and over, and the story sort of got a bit off track. The main aim of the story is to work your way up the 5-10 ranks. When you get to the top of the rank, you fight the head honcho who killed your brother. But we get a bit sidetracked. We meet this guy called Troy. He finds out that you didn't do what he asked you to do, so then he tries to kill you. And then there's this guy called Herschel who wants to hire you because he doesn't like Troy. So then you work for Herschel for a little bit, and he gives you a promotion because he gets a promotion thanks to you. And you think you hear back from him, but you just suddenly drop contact with him. Like, you think he's an important part of the game, but you literally just lose contact with him. It's like, what the hell is this all about? Then you find Harry, and Harry reluctantly teams up with you, though he gets persuaded very easily. And he tells you to meet this guy called Eric Sue. Eric Sue is my favorite character in the game because he's friggin' crazy. He's the right-hand man of the main villain, and you have to help Eric because Eric has gotten the company into a lot of debt, and he's been like stealing money from them, but you have to help him get the money back and restore his reputation. He's like an absolute psycho, so it's absolutely hilarious because like you get all the money back for him and he's not grateful at all. He's acting like he did you the favor.
You Alex?
Depends. Who's this?
Eric 2. East Coast chapter. Looks like you're mine.
You don't sound as excited as you should be.
You haven't given me any reason to be. There's a street race in NYC. Ace it or clear out of town. Just so you know, I didn't choose you. You were given to me. Let's see if you're a gift or a curse. Okay. I don't mind getting proven wrong.
It's what I do best.
Heard about that money that went missing?
I heard it was a 5-10 that took
What are you insinuating?
Whoa, relax, man.
You relax! If we don't get that missing money back for the bosses, we might as well drive ourselves into the Hudson. Get me?
So, Eric Sue. He's got an interesting file,
It strikes me as an interesting guy.
but we need him on our side. For now. Think you can work with him?
Hey, if I can work for you, he should be a piece of cake.
The main thing that was promoted in this game was the online. Unfortunately, the online is bad. It's very rare that you'll actually meet anybody in this game. You can do online races, half the time they don't work, and when they do work, it's like one or two other guys, and they're like way higher level than you, so no matter how good you race, their car's gonna be way faster. I didn't like the online at all, even though it's the main selling point of the game. The single player is the only reason really to play the crew. Now you will get interrupted a lot, asking you to help a guy playing online to get away from the police. I didn't mind this a few times. You use like power-ups and stuff to slow the police down and bang into the police, but after a few times it's the exact same thing. I just ignored the game every time it tried to get me to do those events, but they do work. It was a bit glitchy at times, like the cop cars glitch off the road and stuff. The game has a bit of a complicated interface that would throw many people off. It made me a bit confused at the start, but most of it, honestly, you don't need to worry about. All you really use is the map, and then you look at your missions, and that's really it. The rest of it can be ignored. They also have a lot of settings you go into where they want you to buy microtransactions and things like that. I just ignored it all. There's no reason to buy anything in this game with real money. Like, you buy the game, that's all you really need, honestly. If you want to see your cars, you can go into garage. You have different things, like you can repair the cars, but honestly there's no need to do that, because unlike Need for Speed Most Wanted, when your car gets damaged, it literally makes no difference. After a while your car will automatically repair itself, so There's really no reason to get your car repaired. You're basically throwing money away if you do, so I never bothered with it. Now, you can buy perks for your car every time you unlock someone, like they have perks. You can do different things like increase your handling. I increased like the amount of money I was getting, things like how quickly I leveled up, things like that at the start. The soundtrack in this game's not bad, like it's your standard pop music that you would get in a racing game. I found out like halfway through the game you can actually change the music at the radio. There's like rap music, it wasn't really my taste, but what I did like was the classical station. It was actually pretty interesting. Like some of the cutscenes in the game, they had more weight because you had the classical music in the background. There's day and night cycles. Now you can't control this. The game connects online and I think everybody experiences the day and night at the same time. I'm not too sure about that. All I know is you can't control the day and night. The weather also changes in the game. The interesting thing is when the weather changes, it also affects how your car drives. When it rains, your car will skid more, and when it is snowing, your car will really skid. There's different missions. Obviously the best missions are the racing missions. I also really enjoyed the chase missions. They were actually my favorite because you had to chase after somebody and you had to bash into them. And it was pretty hard to do because just when you're about to get up to them, they turn the car, then you miss them and crash into something. And you had to do it within a time limit, so that was a lot of fun. What I didn't like was there was boxes that you had to knock down. I hated those missions. Thankfully they're only near the end of the game. There was follow missions which were alright, but you had to slow down. There's also a lot of side missions in the game. This game, you look at the map, there's like plastered of icons, but you learn what icons you want to go for. Like for me it was just the story missions that I hadn't done. But you can also do side missions, like you can drive through these gates that pop up. The better you do, the higher score you'll get, or you could like do the highest jump. I usually did them when I was driving to the next area because you can't fast travel to any area unless you've been there. So they were a nice little distraction for me, but nothing more than that. The good thing is like when you do anything, when you win a race or when you visit a new area, or when you do a side mission, you will unlock a part depending on how well you do. So I would always equip that to my existing car. You may think that you need to do a lot of these just to level your car up, but you really don't. Like, even if Zoe says your car's under leveled, it doesn't matter, honestly. Most of the time my car was over leveled anyway. What I liked about this game was there's different viewpoints as well. There was the third person view, which I did most of the time, but you can also do a first person view. I liked the first person view because it let you see more of the road and it felt more like you were driving the actual car, though sometimes it felt too much like driving a car, so then I just switched back to the third person. There was a car view, but I didn't really like it, so I didn't use it. Overall, the Crew, Calling All Units, is a solid game. They were trying to appease everybody. Problem was they did that too much. It's a very ambitious game and it was faithfully recreated these real life locations. They put in a 20-hour story mode, which is insane. Some of the fat could have been trimmed off it, but most part it was humorous. Like, it was the main reason I played the game. Unfortunately, they don't really encourage you to play any other cars aside from the one that you picked, but you do get different variants of the cars. If I was to give it a score, I would give it a 4 out of 5. I wouldn't give it a 5 just because it falls short of some things like the online, because it was built mostly as an online game and you don't get many players playing the online anymore. I have to knock a point off it for that. Also the lack of variety with the cars. The game does drag a little bit in some places, but in my opinion the benefits outweigh the disadvantages because your car controls well, you have good car physics, you have a ton of area to explore, so you're getting value for money. You can customize your car. It's a bit limited in some areas, but you can make it your own car. It works a bit like an RPG where you can upgrade your car. It goes into a lot of details about things, like you look into the car stats, it tells you how much horsepower the car has, acceleration, the weight of the car. If you're into racing games, I recommend you give it a go. It's not the best racing game I've ever played, but I haven't played anything quite like it, so I do think it's worth giving it a go. Get it for cheap or get it for free. If you can't, get the Crew 2 because it's the same type of game. Thanks for watching.
After I beat you, I'm gonna hire you to be the assistant to my intern's water boy. You'll be the guy in charge of cleaning my tires. Your main reason for living will be to swap out my air fresheners. I'm gonna beat you so bad you'll beg me to wash my car.
Well, thanks for looking out for me.
Of course, that's what friends are for.
After everything I did for you back east, this is how you repay me?
Sorry, Eric, it's every man for himself.
I could kill you! I could kill everyone you know! I could kill everyone you don't know in the off chance that you might someday know them!
Kill us? You couldn't even catch us.